The benefits gained from the enemy. A new perspective. When we hear the word enemy, we often associate it with conflict, struggle, and loss. But have you ever thought that the enemy could play an important role in our development, learning, and success? The enemy not only challenges us, but also provides us the opportunity to recognize our inner strengths, improve our weaknesses, and adopt new strategies. The benefits gained from the enemy are the opportunities that lead to stability, progress, and unity in our lives. Today, we will discuss these benefits that make our journey to success stronger and more effective. Let me tell you something, when the enemy shows up, it has a unique way of shifting our focus. Suddenly, the things that used to divide us, personal grudges, differences in opinion, or even long-standing rivalries, don't seem so important anymore. When an external threat arises, it forces us to reevaluate what truly matters, and more often than not, we find ourselves rallying together in ways we never thought possible. Families that were fractured find a reason to reconnect. Communities that were once fragmented discover common ground. Nations that seemed irreparably divided unite under a shared purpose. This phenomenon isn't just about survival, it's about something deeper. It's about realizing that, at our core, we are stronger together. The presence of an enemy serves as a stark reminder that what unites us is far greater than what divides us. It sparks a sense of solidarity, a collective acknowledgement that we are fighting for something bigger than ourselves. We begin to set aside personal ambitions and egos because the mission becomes larger than any one individual. In these moments, you see the power of unity in action. People who might have never spoken to each other before suddenly join hands, collaborate, and share ideas. Differences in class, culture, and background fade into the background, overshadowed by the shared goal of overcoming the challenge. There's a certain stability that comes with this unity, a strength in knowing that you are not alone, that you are part of something greater. And this unity doesn't just provide emotional support, it leads to tangible progress. Resources are pooled, ideas are shared, and actions are coordinated with precision. The collective energy of a united front creates an environment where stability becomes possible, even in the face of adversity. People feel a renewed sense of purpose and belonging, as if their individual contributions truly matter. So when the enemy appears, it's not just a moment of fear or conflict, it's an opportunity. An opportunity to build bridges, to heal old wounds, and to remind ourselves of the power we hold when we stand together. In unity, we find the strength to overcome not just the enemy, but also the divisions within ourselves. Stability, born from solidarity, becomes the foundation for progress. Pressure makes diamonds, doesn't it? And the enemy, with all its challenges and opposition, acts as that very pressure in our lives. It doesn't allow us to stay comfortable or complacent. It forces us to step out of our usual routines and comfort zones, challenging us to think differently and question the old ways of doing things. The presence of an enemy sends a clear message: what worked before is no longer enough. The strategies, tools, and mindsets that once brought success must now evolve. This kind of pressure can feel overwhelming, even intimidating, but it is also a powerful driver of progress. When the stakes are high and the enemy is pushing us to our limits, we are compelled to find new ways to achieve our goals. Innovation doesn't come from ease, it's born out of necessity. When we face an enemy, we dig deep into our creativity, our resourcefulness, and our resilience. We search for solutions that might have seemed unnecessary or even impossible in easier times. Think about how challenges throughout history have spurred humanity to make incredible advancements. The race to overcome adversity often brings out the best in us. Whether it's in technology, science, or strategy, the presence of an opposing force sharpens our thinking and drives us to achieve more than we thought possible. It's not just about surviving the challenge, it's about thriving in its midst. The enemy becomes the catalyst that sparks the fire of innovation within us. What's even more remarkable is how this progress often extends beyond the immediate challenge. The innovations we create to confront the enemy often have far-reaching effects, improving lives and opening new opportunities long after the battle has ended. The enemy might demand change, but it is we who decide how to respond, and our response can shape the future. Ultimately, the enemy forces us to look at ourselves and ask, how can I be better? How can I rise above this? And in answering those questions, we grow. We adapt. We progress. The pressure of the enemy may seem like a burden, but it's also a gift, a powerful force that drives us to achieve greatness, to innovate, and to find a path forward that we might never have discovered on our own. Every encounter with the enemy is a lesson, one that you can't find in textbooks or classrooms. It's a real-life education, a hands-on experience in the school of life. When you face an enemy, you're not just confronting an obstacle, you're engaging in a process of learning and growth. You study their moves, observe their strategies, and try to understand their mindset. This isn't just about anticipating their next move, it's about developing a deeper awareness of the dynamics of conflict, challenge, and resolution. The enemy becomes a teacher, albeit a harsh one, forcing you to sharpen your abilities and think critically. You begin to analyze situations more deeply, questioning not only their tactics, but also your own. Where are the gaps in your approach? How can you adapt to counter their methods? In seeking answers to these questions, you gain insight, knowledge that you can carry with you far beyond this particular encounter. This process also builds invaluable skills. You learn the art of strategy, the importance of preparation, and the value of resilience. You develop the ability to stay calm under pressure, to think on your feet, and to make decisions with clarity, even in the heat of the moment. These are skills that go beyond the battlefield, the boardroom, or any specific challenge. They are tools for life. But perhaps the most valuable lesson the enemy teaches is self-awareness. Through conflict, you come to understand not only their strengths and weaknesses, but also your own. You see what you're capable of when pushed to the limit. You discover areas where you need to grow, and in addressing those, you become stronger, more competent, and more confident. The experience gained from facing an enemy doesn't fade with time. It becomes part of who you are, shaping your perspective and informing your decisions in the future. Each encounter leaves you better equipped for the challenges ahead, not just because you've learned something about the enemy, but because you've learned something about yourself. In the end, the enemy is not just an adversary. They are a source of wisdom, a provider of hard-earned lessons, and a catalyst for personal growth. With every encounter, you emerge more knowledgeable, more experienced, and more prepared to face whatever comes next. Now listen to this. The enemy forces us to take a long, hard look at our game plan. It doesn't allow us the luxury of complacency or sticking to outdated methods. The presence of an enemy shines a spotlight on every crack, every flaw, and every misstep in our policies and strategies. It asks tough questions. What's working? What isn't? What needs to change? And in answering those questions, we begin the process of transformation. The enemy, in its relentless pursuit of victory, compels us to think critically and make improvements that we might have otherwise ignored. It pushes us to refine our approach, to adapt to the ever-changing dynamics of the challenge, and to become more efficient and effective. This refinement isn't superficial, it's a deep, introspective process that requires us to assess not only our strategies, but also the mindset behind them. Why do we do what we do? How can we do it better? Sharpening our tools and improving our policies doesn't just prepare us for the immediate challenge at hand, it has a ripple effect that extends far beyond the confrontation. When we adjust and enhance our strategies, we create systems that are not only more robust, but also more resilient in the face of future challenges. The lessons we learn in the heat of conflict become the foundation for long-term growth and success. Moreover, the process of reevaluating and improving policies fosters a culture of innovation and accountability. It encourages us to be proactive rather than reactive, to anticipate challenges before they arise, and to build frameworks that can withstand adversity. This kind of strategic thinking is invaluable, not just in dealing with enemies, but in navigating life's uncertainties. It's important to note that these improvements often extend beyond individual gains. When organizations, communities, or nations face enemies, the adjustments they make to their policies and strategies often benefit everyone involved. Better policies lead to stronger systems, more equitable outcomes, and greater overall success. So while the presence of an enemy may feel like a burden, it is also an opportunity, a chance to grow, to adapt, and to become better. The enemy forces us to rise to the occasion, and in doing so, we not only overcome the immediate challenge, but also set ourselves up for a future filled with greater capability and success. The enemy. It gives you something rare and invaluable purpose. It doesn't matter how comfortable or complacent you were before, the moment an enemy steps into your path, everything changes. Suddenly, there's a fire lit under you, a sense of urgency you didn't know you had. It's as if the enemy whispers in your ear, get up, move, fight for what you want. And in that moment, you discover a drive within yourself that you might have thought was long gone or never there to begin with. The presence of an enemy sharpens your focus. No longer are you drifting aimlessly or hesitating over decisions. You're propelled into action because the stakes are too high to sit still. That purpose the enemy gives you, it's not just about defeating them, it's about proving something to yourself. It's about showing that you're capable, resilient, and determined to overcome whatever stands in your way. Motivation born from facing an enemy is unlike any other. It's raw, intense, and deeply personal. It's the kind of motivation that makes you push harder, think faster, and dig deeper than you ever thought possible. It transforms challenges into opportunities and fear into fuel. You begin to realize that the enemy isn't just an obstacle, it's a catalyst, a force driving you to reach higher and strive for more. This newfound purpose isn't fleeting. It permeates every aspect of your life. You start to see connections between the fight you're facing and the bigger picture of your goals and dreams. The enemy's presence reminds you of what truly matters, of the things worth fighting for. And once you're reminded of that, there's no turning back. You're in it, fully committed, with a clarity of purpose that makes every step feel meaningful. What's more, the motivation the enemy instills often extends beyond the immediate conflict. It becomes a part of you, fueling your ambitions long after the battle is over. You learn to harness that fire and apply it to other areas of your life, turning challenges into stepping stones for success. So while the enemy may seem like an adversary, it also serves as a powerful motivator. It pushes you to discover your strength, to focus on your purpose, and to take action. And in doing so, it becomes not just a source of struggle, but a source of transformation. The enemy is like a mirror, one that doesn't lie. It reflects every crack, every flaw, every weakness you have. And while that reflection can be uncomfortable, even painful, it's one of the most valuable gifts the enemy can offer. Because here's the thing, once you see those weaknesses, you can do something about them. You can confront them head on, you can fix them, improve them, and over time turn them into strengths. This kind of self-awareness is rare. In the absence of challenges, it's easy to overlook or even deny our shortcomings. We tell ourselves that we're doing just fine, that there's no need to change or grow. But when the enemy steps into the picture, all of that changes. Their presence forces us to take a closer look at ourselves, not just at the surface, but deep down. We begin to ask hard questions. Where am I falling short? What's holding me back? How can I become better, stronger, and more prepared? In many ways, the enemy becomes a catalyst for personal growth. Their challenge forces us to move beyond denial or complacency and into action. It's not enough to simply acknowledge our weaknesses, we're compelled to address them. And this process isn't just about survival, it's about transformation. Each weakness we work on becomes an opportunity to build resilience, develop new skills, and strengthen our character. Take a moment to consider this. Every weakness is a potential strength waiting to be developed. Fear can become courage. Inexperience can turn into expertise. Hesitation can evolve into confidence. The enemy's role in this transformation is essential. They push us to see what we might have otherwise ignored and to act in ways we might have avoided. And here's the beauty of it: this process doesn't just prepare us for the immediate challenge, it equips us for life. The self-awareness and growth we gain from analyzing our weaknesses carry forward, helping us face future challenges with greater confidence and capability. We become not only stronger, but also wiser, more adaptable, and more prepared for whatever comes next. So while the enemy may seem like a source of struggle, they also serve as a mirror that reveals the truth about who we are and what we can become. And when we embrace that truth, we unlock the potential to transform our weaknesses into strengths, emerging stronger and more capable than ever before. And when you succeed, when you overcome the enemy, oh, that feeling, it's indescribable. That's self-confidence in its purest form, earned through grit, perseverance, and hard work. It's not just a fleeting moment of pride, it's a deep and lasting belief in your own abilities. You stand a little taller, your voice carries more conviction, and you say to yourself, I did that. I overcame what I thought was impossible. If I can face that, I can face anything. The journey to this point isn't easy. It's filled with doubt, fear, and moments when giving up feels like the easiest option. But each step you take, each hurdle you overcome, builds a reservoir of determination within you. The enemy challenges you, yes, but in doing so, they also unlock a strength you might not have realized you had. It's in those moments of struggle that your self-confidence begins to grow. Success against an enemy isn't just about the final victory, it's about everything you learn and endure along the way. Every small win, every time you push through when it feels impossible, adds another layer to your confidence. You begin to trust yourself more, to trust your judgment, your instincts, and your resilience. And that trust, it's empowering. It's the kind of self-belief that stays with you long after the enemy is gone. But it's not just about confidence, it's about determination too. Facing an enemy teaches you the value of persistence. It shows you that no matter how tough the road gets, you have the strength to keep moving forward. That determination becomes a part of who you are, shaping how you approach every challenge in life. You start to see obstacles not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to prove yourself again and again. The beauty of overcoming an enemy is that it's not just about winning a single battle. It's about transforming how you see yourself. You realize that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. That realization creates a ripple effect, influencing every aspect of your life. You carry that self-confidence and determination with you, facing future challenges with a sense of purpose and assurance. So when you overcome the enemy, it's more than a victory. It's a turning point, a moment that redefines how you see yourself and what you believe you're capable of achieving. And that, more than anything, is the gift the enemy leaves behind. Now, don't get it twisted sometimes. The real victory isn't in the fight. It's in what comes afterward. The peace, the dialogue, the reconciliation. Because even with the enemy, there's an opportunity to find balance, to create understanding, and to move forward together. It's not always about who wins or loses, it's about finding common ground where progress can be made. When we engage in negotiation with an enemy, we're not just seeking to end conflict, we're seeking a resolution that benefits both sides. This requires a shift in perspective, a willingness to see beyond the immediate struggle. It demands empathy, patience, and the ability to listen. Through dialogue, we uncover the root causes of conflict, the motivations driving the enemy's actions, and the fears or goals that may mirror our own. Reconciliation is about more than just signing agreements or shaking hands. It's about restoring trust, repairing relationships, and creating an environment where future conflicts are less likely to arise. This process can be difficult, even painful, because it requires humility and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths. But the rewards are immeasurable. A reconciliation built on mutual respect and understanding can lead to long-term peace, stability, and even collaboration. Consider this: when we choose reconciliation over prolonged conflict, we not only spare resources and lives, but also open the door to growth. Both sides can redirect their energy from fighting to building. They can focus on innovation, progress, and shared goals that benefit everyone involved. The enemy, once seen only as an adversary, can become an ally in the pursuit of something greater. This isn't about weakness or compromise, it's about strength. Strength to let go of grudges. Strength to admit when dialogue is a better path than destruction. Strength to see the bigger picture and prioritize the future over the past. It's about recognizing that sometimes the greatest victories are the ones that bring people together, not tear them apart. In the end, negotiation and reconciliation are acts of courage. They're about choosing to rise above conflict and seek solutions that lead to a better, more balanced world. Even with an enemy, there's always the possibility of finding common ground, and in that we discover not just peace, but the potential for something truly transformative. Finally, the enemy drives us, pushes us to move faster, think bigger, dream bolder. It forces us to step outside our comfort zones and into the unknown. The pressure is intense, the stakes are high, and it can feel overwhelming. But here's the truth: growth never happens in comfort. It happens when we're tested, when we're stretched, when we're forced to confront challenges that seem beyond our capabilities. The enemy, in all its forms, accelerates our journey toward development. When we face an enemy, we can no longer afford to be passive or complacent. The status quo doesn't cut it anymore. We have to evolve, adapt, and find ways to outpace the very thing trying to hold us back. This doesn't happen by standing still. It happens by pushing forward, even when the road ahead seems uncertain, even when the path is difficult to navigate. The enemy forces us to look beyond our current limitations and strive for something greater, something more powerful than we thought possible. What the enemy teaches us is urgency. It teaches us that time is not infinite and that every moment matters. In the face of opposition, we can't afford to waste time or energy. We must move quickly, think critically, and act decisively. The pressure forces us to develop the skills we need to survive and succeed in an ever-changing world. And in doing so, we create the foundation for progress. The enemy pushes us to innovate, to be more efficient, and to find new ways of overcoming obstacles. But it's not just about speed, it's about vision. The enemy challenges us to think bigger, to dream bolder. When we're forced to confront something bigger than ourselves, we start thinking about the long term. We begin to see a future beyond the immediate challenge. It's a future we're determined to build, a future shaped by the lessons we learn from the battle we're in right now. The enemy teaches us that growth isn't just about surviving the fight, it's about using the fight as a springboard to reach new heights. So while the enemy may not be welcome, its presence is undeniably transformative. It challenges us to become better versions of ourselves, to reach higher, to move faster, and to think bigger. It forces us to grow, even when it's uncomfortable. And in the end, that growth becomes the very thing that empowers us to move forward. No matter what challenges lie ahead, it is not necessary to always view the enemy as a negative force. In fact, the enemy provides us with new opportunities, learning experiences, and strength. Through it, we can not only eliminate our weaknesses, but also adopt new strategies to achieve our goals. Confronting the enemy helps us understand ourselves better and move forward on the path to success. Therefore, it is not only unnecessary to avoid the enemy, but also important to regard it as a valuable teacher and learn from it. Thank you. Long